Hi guys, FauxRetro here, and I want to paint you a picture. The year 2022. It's the 20th anniversary of the Kingdom Hearts series, and what are they doing to celebrate it? For the 10th anniversary, we got Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance on the 3DS, so what are we going to get for the next major anniversary happening now? Might I suggest a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake? So a bit of a different format for this one. I'm going to be talking to you at this angle, not this angle, this one. So for those who know me, I frequently can't shut up about the idea of a remake of the original Kingdom Hearts. While it's really great we can play Kingdom Hearts 1 on modern systems with the 1.5 and 2.5 collection, I'd argue it's the game in the series that's aged the worst. Makes sense being the first game in the series. It plays well enough, and thank God the HD remix switched the camera controls to the right analog stick after the original PS2 release had us all trapped in L2, R2 camera control hell. I want to reiterate that Kingdom Hearts 1 is not unplayable, far from it, and I still love playing it to this day. Recently, in fact. I just think that with such a major milestone coming up, 20 years is a solid amount of time to consider doing a remake to celebrate an anniversary for such a landmark series. So, hello, I'm here to provide a list for my case for a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake. I'm sorry, that's a make. Because, of course, what am I, stupid? Part 1, what do you mean remake? I think it's important in this day and age to say what I mean by remake. I have a handy SpongeBob to Final Fantasy VII scale. Here at the bottom is SpongeBob Rehydrated, a remake that's just straight up the same game with new and improved graphics. Same gameplay, same level design, really nothing changed beyond presentation. At the top end is the Final Fantasy VII remake, which is still the same basic story, but at the level of extreme reimagining with new gameplay, characters, story expansions, the works. So on this very important, incredibly scientific SpongeBob to Final Fantasy remake scale, patent pending, I'd put my idea of a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake about 1/3 up the scale, closer to Rehydrated than 7. To elaborate, my hypothetical Kingdom Hearts 1 remake would retain the same basic structure of the original entry, but with enhanced design taking advantage of next-gen systems like PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. This is what I think the sweet spot would be for a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake. You can't really change the story here much, but we'll get to that. But since the Kingdom Hearts series is ongoing and almost excessively connected, you can't really do a big overhaul a la the 7 remake. Though, Nomura, I would never say no to a Honeybee Inn-like minigame. I'm just saying. Another reason why I wouldn't want a direct recreation like SpongeBob Rehydrated is that there wouldn't be a point to a remake otherwise. I'm of the mindset that there's no point in remakes unless A, the original isn't widely accessible, and B, they have something new to say or actually enhance and improve. This is why, in the context of all those Disney live-action remakes to use as an easy example, I prefer the ones that take new approaches to the story like Peach Dragon and Mulan, as opposed to, in my opinion, pointless beat-for-beat remakes like The Lion King. Rehydrated getting the direct remake treatment makes sense, as the original game wasn't available on modern consoles, whereas 7 Remake I think works, because if you want to play the original game, it's readily available on every system imaginable, so the modern remake is free to branch out more readily into its own thing. Is that a hot take? Don't hurt me. Yeah, so a full remake of Kingdom Hearts with some enhancements in certain areas. What would that entail? Part 2, Enhancements. Clever title, I know. So I never really considered what a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake would look like until, well, Kingdom Hearts 3 was actually a thing. All the games being in the same engine for such a long time leaves me still kind of adjusting to the series' new look thanks to the use of Unreal Engine 4. Kingdom Hearts 3's visuals are a stunner, and this is just the beginning. I can't even imagine how much further the dev team will be able to push future KH titles visually with Unreal 5 and the new next-gen consoles. I'm a little mad that Melody of Memory went back to the old engine style, but that's a conversation for another time. So here's what I mean by wanting a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake to be more than just a rehydrated style rehash. Here's really why it'd be worthwhile. The Kingdom Hearts 1 world, a lot of it's definitely nostalgia, but I still really love them. Kingdom Hearts was groundbreaking visuals-wise for its time back in 2002. Other developers like Naughty Dog were stunned by the game's facial animation when footage was released. True story. But looking at the game today, especially in high definition in the HD collections on PS3 and 4, the age of the environments definitely show. The rooms are small, and while they do a lot with the fun visual details all over the place, they definitely lack the scale of even Kingdom Hearts 2's levels. Though I'd argue 1's are still more interesting due to more exploration. Take Wonderland for example. It's a fun early level, not a lot to it, but entering the bizarre room from different perspectives never really gets old. However, every room is just that. A room. The Queen's Castle is this awkward area with a throne in a sort of garden area. With no skybox, you're literally in a room with a sky-painted ceiling. The Lotus Forest is a bit better with platforms to jump on, but everything just feels contained and small. Something a place literally called Wonderland shouldn't feel like. Now let's jump to Kingdom Hearts 3, which has huge and expansive worlds, turning something like a toy store into a multi-stored playhouse with all kinds of unique areas and nooks and crannies to find various Easter eggs. Imagine this kind of treatment for the original Kingdom Hearts worlds, though with design emphasizing the original's platforming instead of flow motion and air stepping. Wonderland could really truly transform into the Technicolor, well, Wonderland as imagined in the original animated film. I mean, Square was really flexing with Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, look at us, we can recreate all of Let It Go. Like, bringing that true you are in a Disney movie experience to the original Kingdom Hearts worlds has the potential to be phenomenal. Keep the spirit of the original designs for sure, but just imagine Olympus Coliseum with actual people cheering in the stands. Really, that should sell people on a remake alone, I'm just saying. Part 3, Control. I don't think there's really any debate that the controls for Kingdom Hearts are a bit awkward. First of all, thank God the camera got moved to the right analog stick in the HD remasters, but the camera is definitely still a bit finicky. Adverse effect of the small rooms, I'd say. It'd probably be a bit odd returning to basic jumping platforming in a Kingdom Hearts title after Flow Motion threw all of that out of the window, but this time around I think Square would easily have the ability to make it all feel less clunky, properly expanding the reaction command system that was implemented in the remixes for ease of selection of various commands, along with letting us use all of the face buttons in the shortcut menu, please. One thing that really struck me as finally working in Kingdom Hearts 3 was the underwater controls. For once it wasn't a chore. Now take this and give it to Atlantica. Thank me later. Truthfully, I was never that bothered by the controls in Atlantica, at least movement-wise. What really hurt it was how limited your attacks became as Sora. It felt like the combat regressed back to the beginning of the game, especially with not being able to close in on enemies, making for a slightly frustrating experience. Now, KH3 Underwater provided a lot more when it came to attack combos, albeit still limited compared to standard combat, but the limitations didn't hurt as much, and the controls, so much better. Just, I don't dread being underwater. Putting this into Atlantica and redesigning the world to have more exciting fights based on these controls, I'd actually look forward to smacking Ursula's chin. Also, a fun fact, I used to think that when Ursula yelled, "This won't be pretty," when she does her big lasers from the ceiling attack, I thought she was saying, "As for the prince." I have no explanation. I was 8 when the game came out, so. I don't want flow motion in Kingdom Hearts 1, to be clear. First of all, it wouldn't make any kind of story sense for Sora to have this ability so early on, but I think with the time that's passed, Square will easily be able to make jumping feel good and less floaty. It'd certainly make such platforming sections like hopping around Hollow Bastion and Whale Guts, lest we forget, a little more bearable. Oh, the barrel throwing. As with expanded level design, I think just general improved movement for Sora as a game character would work beautifully to easily modernize and improve the Kingdom Hearts 1 experience. Again, making a remake viable. I hope I'm convincing you. Oh, by the way, speaking of platforming, remember those deep jungle vines? Well, part 4, He-hoo-hoo-ha, means heart. Let's just get this one out of the way. Deep Jungle's not great. I didn't intend for this video to become my Kingdom Hearts hot takes, but there's so much back and forth. The vines, the objectives that are extremely unclear on first playthrough, the vines, the evil heartless fruit of evil, the vines, and of course the biggest piece of wisdom I've ever received.
Means heart.
Suffice to say, it's got issues. Now here's where things get a little dicey, a little muddled. If a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake does happen, I don't know if Tarzan can be included. Let me preface by saying I don't have a thorough understanding of copyright, so if anyone can give a definitive answer, let me know in the comments. I welcome it. So Disney had the rights to Tarzan and its characters from the Edgar Rice Burroughs estate, the group that holds the rights to Edgar stories like Tarzan and John Carter. This enabled them to adapt the property into the Tarzan feature film, the Tarzan TV show, the Broadway show, the truly iconic Tarzan and Jane.
Tarzan and dancing. You remember the last time he danced?
And yes, Tarzan 2.
Finally figured out what you are! A Tarzan!
Kingdom Hearts was developed during this period, and it enabled them to include Tarzan as a Disney World. Simple enough. However, eventually the rights expired and Disney lost the ability to include Tarzan in their products, their version of the character or otherwise. That's why Deep Jungle's in Kingdom Hearts 1 and then never again, not even in Chain of Memories. You may ask, then why is Deep Jungle included in the HD remixes? Disney can't use Tarzan anymore. Well, that's because technically the HD remixes aren't new products, they're re-releases. Since the thing has already been produced, Disney is fully within their right to put that product out again, sort of like re-releasing the Tarzan film on Blu-ray after years of it being on DVD originally. The part I don't fully understand is whether a remake would fall under this same rule. I'd err closer to saying no. A remake would constitute a new product, and so Deep Jungle would have to be removed. Again, I don't have a thorough understanding of copyright, this just kind of sounds correct to me. So Deep Jungle's out, hypothetically. What's a Nomura to do? Jungle Book. Let's do it, people. It's no secret at this point that the Jungle Book was a world originally planned for Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Areas from it can even be accessed in the game's data through cheats. So here's my solution for this potential problem. Can you tell I've been thinking about this for a long time? Just do Jungle Book, create a new world. Like, if just a straight remake of the game isn't enough, here you go, new world, 100% new content. It really would be an easy switcheroo. Deep Jungle as a world bears little consequence on Kingdom Hearts 1's overall story, but the only thing of note is a little mini arc of Donald and Sora fighting and then eventually making up, along with Goofy fighting a gummy piece that as a kid I thought the gorilla pooped out. Also, Donald Duck and Rosie O'Donnell, they're gonna fuck.
Look at our little mutant baby!
But other than that, pretty much nothing. The Disney villain Group of Evil comments on Clayton being consumed by darkness, but that could easily be switched out for, I don't know, sheer con, I guess. I really see this as a win-win. Gamers get some new content, Jungle Book finally gets to be included in Kingdom Hearts, and we then have an opportunity for a better designed level. I mean, if we can include...
means hot.
I would be happy, but it's not necessary.
Do it.
The Jungle Book is filled with such fun characters from Bagheera to Baloo, you arguably wouldn't even need to include Mowgli. Sora could be kind of a Mowgli surrogate. Oh, and we're keeping Sora human in this scenario, by the way. No awkward lion controls. Thank you. You could even keep the Sora-Donald feud as a storyline and have Baloo teach Sora to be kinder and forgiving. Also, now I have the bare necessity stuck in my head. No big deal really, but it's there. And now it's in yours. There's of course small issues to this idea, mainly in the ability to record new dialogue. Haley Joel Osment's a talented guy, but I'm not sure he could jump right back into the Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora voice without it being an awkward rechain of memory situation, where apparently that chase after Pluto caused Sora to rocket through puberty real quick.
Hey, have you seen King Mickey?
Seriously? Me too. One look at this castle, and I just knew.
But really, if Deep Jungle's gotta go, it's such an opportunity to finally get the Jungle Book in. You can keep basic threads, you still have that jungle setting, though imagine how dense and lush it could all look in Unreal Engine. I mean, hell, you could even leave the Jungle King Keyblade in. It all just lines up perfectly. Part 5. Okay, fine, why this may not work. For an even-handed argument, I gotta present the other side because I know people would complain otherwise. So, arguments against a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake. The easiest one I can think to mention is just the want for new stories. We're finally out of the Xehanort saga when it comes to Kingdom Hearts. Sorta. And I totally get the sentiment to want to just move on. We're in a rare position as Kingdom Hearts fans now, one where we have literally no idea where the series could go next. VRM Rex, Final Fantasy Vs 13 but starring Donald Duck, Kingdom Hearts 2 but now it's only Atlantica. Oh, I wish. But the desire to move on can be a strong one. From a fan standpoint, and I'd harken a guess from a development point of view too. I'd argue that a remake of the original would be a great way to get people new to Kingdom Hearts into the series, but based off Kingdom Hearts 3's sales, that seems to have done the job already. They probably had no idea what the hell was going on if it was their first in the series, but look, Elsa! There's also the aforementioned recording issues of the cast all older, though I'd say Haley Joel Osment is the only one who'd pose a problem. But I bet with some creative writing you could work around it, potentially using old line recordings. Maybe too tall of an ask though. The dev teams may have full plates at the moment too, realistically. It's been stated that multiple Kingdom Hearts games are currently in development, with the only ones we're aware of being the upcoming Melody of Memory, so excited, and the ongoing development of the mobile title Dark Road, aka, spoiler alert, skip the next 5 seconds now. All my friends are dead and now I'm crying on my morning commute to work. Really though, that's kind of it. For my own brain, these are the only reasons I can think not to do a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake. Not a solid enough case against it in my opinion, though obviously look at the title of this video, but again, gotta present the other side. Part 6. Conclusions. I really believe a Kingdom Hearts 1 remake, again with a colon, should happen. There's so much potential to take a now classic game and modernize it for the next, soon-to-be current gen. I still have great fun playing the original game, but to re-experience it with expanded levels, new content, better control, and, might I repeat, people in the stands of Olympus Coliseum, it'd just be great. And might I add, a wonderful way to celebrate the series' 20th anniversary. You gotta release it in 2022 though. I'm not gonna have an anniversary release coming out a year off target or anything like that. No. The time lines up for a remake to make sense, tech's progress enough for it to be worthwhile, and it's not like it'd be a massive overhaul like the 7 remake, just a celebration of Kingdom Hearts as a series, fully realizing the vision of the original PS2 release, and remembering what came before, as the series goes off in a bold new direction. Or directions. I kinda love that we have no idea what's happening when it comes to new releases at this point. Like, just look at this recent showcase of Unreal Engine 5. It's stunning. Now take that and imagine just how enhanced the world of Kingdom Hearts would be with this tech. Like, I bet if they really wanted to push it, they could make Halloween Town actually look like stop motion. The possibilities, people. It could be so good. But that's it. That's my case for Kingdom Hearts 1 Remake. Agree? Disagree? I don't care. But no, really, let me know in the comments below whether you agree, disagree, any other ideas you might have. I'd love to hear them. I've been thinking about this for a while, clearly, and I just really wanted to put it out there. Now let's do it, Square. Disney, Kingdom Hearts 1 Remake, PS5 and Xbox Series X. Let's make it happen. We can make it so people actually enjoy Atlantica. Like, imagine liking Atlantica. It's crazy. Oh, also make Disney Castle playable instead of just floating there, teasing me. Let me in, Nomura. Let me in!
Swing this way, we'll dance and we'll play. It's very easy, come on and just take a chance and shake a thing.
Let the music move you. You can do it.
Don't be shy, let the music inside. Dance, dance, dance.
See, you can do it.
swing this way, we'll dance and we'll play. Now it's very easy, come on in, just take a chance and shake a thing.
Watch the stage now. How exciting!
See the sign, can you reach it?